Normally I kind of wait until the end to do the whole walk around feature type thing. Maybe we'll do that closer to the start of this video. My potential plans for this car. We have our Maximum Motorsport tubular K member. Get a lot of questions, is the car for sale? What's up guys, and welcome back to the infamous project. We are winding down the days here down in Texas, and I can't believe how fast this past month and a little bit has gone already. As any of you guys who have moved, and not just in somewhere else in the neighborhood, but maybe across country or into another country, or maybe you had all your stuff shipped from the other side of the world and you hadn't seen it in a year and a half and you're trying to get that all set up. I.e. myself, well, time goes by really quick. You're trying to see friends, you're trying to see some family, you're trying to get some stuff done, you're trying to go out and have a good time, and the time just flies. So before I end up back in Canada and everybody's like, but we never saw a video on the Calypso car and we never saw a video on the Cali car. I'm gonna start taking care of that and making sure I get all this content checked off the list so that you guys can see it before I manage to get back down here again. So today, I think we're gonna focus on the Calypso. You know, it's probably the most exciting addition to the stable that I've made while I was away. Probably one of the top best purchases I've made in 2020, sight unseen. You can see the blue notch is gone now. So if you guys haven't been watching the videos, the blue notch went to my friend Lewis. So that arrived in Florida a couple days ago, and he should be soon enjoying that car on the streets. So shop is getting a little bit more clean, a little bit more organized. I got some shelving happening in the back over there. Got a cabinet over there and the tools and everything else set up. So getting there. The thing that needs to happen is I need some lifts. So definitely going to be getting a 2-post put in over there, and probably get a couple 4-posts along the backside here. So that way I can really maximize some of the space in here. That, and I need to get the parts car back over on this side so I can get the Lincoln sitting in the other bay. But that's just some shop logistics stuff. So let's get into this Calypso and get this episode kicked off on 1993 notch original Calypso black interior with no short list of mods. We'll put it that way. First things first, made some room so we can start this notch up. And normally I kind of wait until the end to do the whole walk around feature type thing. Maybe we'll do that closer to the start of this video for you guys and just switch things up for once. Here we are. Corbeau seats in the front. I don't know if the GoPro can pick it up, but the airbag unit is beeping. So like I said, we'll do things a little bit differently this time. Might go for the joyride first. That way you guys can sort of see how the car sounds, how it performs, and then I can go over all the mods, at least all the mods that I'm aware with all of you guys. So while this car is warming up, let's take a quick look around the car outside so you can see what it looks like in the sunlight. So I figured I'd just go on a quick little ride with you guys here. And so we let the car warm up a little bit. I'll tell you the story about the car and how it came to be in my possession. A guy reached out to me late last year. He knew me off of the GTAMC forums, which are now called stangstop.com. And he's like, hey man, I got this car, not sure if you'd be interested in it. And he's like, just to let you know, I reached out to both you and the Foxcast. And like, no problem man, send me the details. So he sent everything over, and needless to say, it was a really impressive list of modifications and parts that he had with this car. So I jumped at the opportunity and got the car picked up and sent over to my shop here in Texas. So the buyer was the seller was in Florida, and he was originally from Canada, and that's how he knew me from the forums. And I guess his work transferred him down there, and he brought the car with him. He had a huge thread on the car, and if I can find the link, I'll post it up in this video so you can see it, of him going through and like detailing the underside of this car. Like, the underside probably looks better than the top side. So get things warming up a little bit here. Too crazy, I need to make sure that this hood's closed. With all those battery tenders, you never know. All right, the hood was latched. It's the last thing you want, is your hood flying up on your Fox. And we're up to temperature here, so we can have a little bit more fun. Is a blast to drive. So I'm going to flip the camera around. Got that Amazon Prime delivery going down the road here, so we're going to give him a little bit of distance before I start going, because like I said, I want to have a little bit of fun with you guys in the car. Now I'm not going to go all out because the car does not have a final tune. If you haven't noticed down here, the car is running on a Phytech standalone system. And I'll get into the reasons for that when we get back to the shop. But it's got that, and if you haven't noticed, there is a T56 transmission in this car as well. So that makes the car that much more enjoyable, having that extra gear. Anyways, the Prime truck is way up there, so let's go see if we can catch him. Unfortunately, our drive ended a little prematurely. I could just feel the drag on the car when I pulled over and I had the emergency brake up. I guess it's sticking and it's grabbing, and I can 100% feel the drag. So I guess it's probably a good opportunity to jack the car up and be able to show you guys underneath. But before we do that, I'm going to let things cool down just a little bit. You know, I was driving a little spiritedly, nothing too crazy, because like I said, the car doesn't have a final tune on it, but the car does work really, really well. So I'm going to pop the hood here and I'll show you guys what's going on underneath the hood. So here we are, super clean and tidy under here, and you can see the Phytech staring at you in the face here on the top side of the motor. So this is a fully rebuilt 306. You know, it's got heads, cams, intake, and it actually used to have a Vortec S-trim blower on it. For whatever reason, he said he struggled in order to get a tune that worked for the car, and out of his frustrations, he ended up taking the blower off and putting the Phytech on, and he was going more for handling and overall performance in that regard. He's got these Enkei wheels on the car, got Cobra brakes up front, and full disc in the rear, and this rear is actually a Cobra IRS, so it's actually sporting independent rear suspension, which I have to say, going up through those corners up there, even though the brakes were dragging on me, I have done it once before this test drive, and let me tell you, this thing handles like a dream. When you're trying to kick the ass end out, this thing actually glues to the road really, really impressively. So the performance of the car is really good. He was definitely headed in the right direction with what he wanted to accomplish. I guess the worst part about this car in reality is the actual outside body and paint. The paint could be a lot better. There's really no major rust or any issues like that. It's old, it's worn out, and the outside needs a refresh. There's a couple little spots you know, that do need to be addressed. You can see one bubble happening right here. There's a dent back here somewhere, one right there, and I think there was a little bit of rust in the pillar. Was it the pillar? Yeah, a little bit right here, the windshield. But other than that, the car is super clean overall. The bottom sides of the doors and all of those things are all rust free. Oh, we're nice and clean in here. Bottom side of the trunk, all this stuff is super nice and clean and tidy. Well, the quarter windows really aren't even too bad. Probably because, you know, being a Canadian car didn't get the extreme heat that Florida would have given it its whole life once he moved the car down there. So you know, a little bit of trim restoration, fresh paint job on the outside. This will be a really, really clean Calypso. And there's a lot of mods here, right? So we're talking built motor, T56 transmission, IRS in the back. It's got its original black interior. Really only mods the white face gauges, the Corbeau seats, which are quite comfy, by the way. The car came with the leathers to redo the tweed rear, but I believe he was looking for an LX seat to recover instead of ruining a tweed coupe rear seat, which I don't blame him one bit there. I would do the same. And guess that kind of brings us into my potential plans for this car. So as modded, as cool, and as fun as it seems, I think this might be a put back to stock project for me. This motor and potentially the transmission, these I have plans to put into the 86 4i Coupe. Freshly rebuilt, I know it works really well, and it'll just kind of be direct bolt and fit once that car is done, and I won't have to worry about you know, trying to find another motor or build one, etc. This car does have a tubular K-member, tubular control arms, all of that suspension stuff as well. It's running on coilovers in the front, so a lot of that stuff will probably get transplanted, which will allow me to go a lot more stock with this car, because It hasn't been butchered, hasn't been hacked up. The car is really clean, and there really aren't that many 93 Calypsos on black out there these days, which leaves me with an opportunity in the market to be able to build a really nice clean car. In terms of the IRS, I'm torn on that exactly what I'm going to do. You know, I've had a guy actually from the east coast of Canada. He reached out to me. He's got like a mint 93 Calypso Coupe, and he was going to put an IRS in his, and he's like, oh, I just can't bring myself to do it. The car is way too clean. And he reached out to me about this one. So needless to say, you never know. Maybe me and him will work something out. I told him that once I had the video of the car done and I've put eyes on it, that we could maybe talk, but we'll see what happens there. So anyways, what we'll do now, I'm going to back this car up. I'm going to get it in the shop. I'll probably just get it right here and sideways. I'll jack it up. We'll take a look underneath so you guys can see what the IRS and the underside and everything else looks like on it. You can actually see how the exhaust is bent Cobra style underneath. That one pipe is hanging a little lower on the passenger side than the driver's side. And the tailpipes kind of have this downward slope to them, which just drives me absolutely nuts. But it's really not going to matter if I end up taking all that stuff apart and off anyways. So I'm going to back the car in, we'll get it jacked up, take a look, we'll go from there. So we managed to break everything free with the rear brakes. It seems like the way that the emergency brake cables are routed just has a little bit too much pressure in a couple of the turns. So managed to kind of just wiggle and break them free. They had already pretty much broke free after, you know, the car had sat for a little bit, but I'll definitely have to double check the routing of those. Same thing actually happened on my silver notch. So not a huge deal. Slowed us down a little bit for our joyride out there, but we'll get it on the next one. So you guys can see here, we have our Maximum Motorsport tubular K-member. We have our G-load brace on the underside here. You can see the linkage going to our clutch fork for that T56. You know, you can see some of the standalone sensors and whatnot up there. Hiding up in the fender well, you can see a little bit of wiring, you know, mini wire tuck, keeping things clean underneath the hood with our coilover setup. Got our Cobra brakes in the front. Moving along the underside, got some high flow catalytic converters into this BBK H pipe. So I'm not sure which transmission crossmember this is, but obviously it's there to accommodate the T56. We have a nice aluminum drive shaft. A lot of elbow grease went into this. All right, so underneath the backside here, we can see how clean this car is in terms of no rust, no corrosion. It's all been cleaned, detailed, painted, brand new gas tank cover. And when we reach up under here, we can see our IRS all bolted in, looking the part. So very nice and clean under here. The amount of hours just in the detailing alone to get the underside like this, and I'm pretty sure he did this on jack stands. So yeah, a lot of time, guys. Like when you see your frame rails or a nice gloss color like that, you don't see that every day on your Foxbody. Oh yeah, so the one thing that I didn't show you guys, now that we're on the top side of the car again. So you saw we have, you know, the seat covers and everything else are in some boxes in the back seat there. But to my amazement, look at all the stuff this car came with. And we got everything from AC systems to belts. We have a new cowl piece, there's weather strip, there's brand new screws, nuts and bolts kit, tons of stuff. I haven't even gone through it all yet. This car honestly almost rivals the 93 Cobra in terms of how many parts it actually came with. So that was definitely a really nice bonus, and I'm glad that the seller threw it all in. I know he had a set of NOS Coupe rear quarter glass, but he knew what they were worth, and I told him, honestly, just go ahead, throw those on eBay, make your money off them. I was happy enough just to get the car and everything else that it ended up coming with. So I think it was a great buy. Not going to tell you guys how much I paid, so if you guys are going to ask that, I'm not going to tell you. I get a lot of questions, is the car for sale? So everything can be for sale, guys. I'm just not 100% sure with this one. Like, I'm not going to sell it the way that it is, that's for sure, because it's worth really good money to me because I need that drivetrain for my 86. But anything else is negotiable. If anybody's interested in an original Calypso car, because I have no problem putting this car back to stock, I have everything that I need to do it, and of course it'll look amazing when it's done. So if somebody's interested in that, please reach out to me and let me know. If you're interested in the car as a roller, that could be a possibility as well, but I'm not giving these cars away, guys. So don't come offering me $5 grand for this car as a roller. It's not going to happen. Thank you guys again for tuning in, watching, subscribing, all of those things. I'm going to get back underneath the car and just double check and make sure that everything is okay with the rear brakes and whatever was going on with the parking brake there. This video's gone on long enough, so I don't need to drag you guys back underneath the car with me. But again, if you have any questions or interest in this car in its stock form, it will most likely be available later on in the future, so let me know there. So I have a couple more videos coming on the way that I need to get done. Who knows which order they'll get released in, but need to get one done on the 88 Cali notch, and I really want to get one done on the 91 Wild Strawberry Dutch hatch. So be on the lookout for those videos, and keep the comments, keep the support going, guys. Keeps motivating me to carry on and keep doing this stuff. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time.